Hi everybody, my name is Patricia, first generation Beatles fan. This channel is called Little Beatles Corner. Today I'm going to show you all the Beatles related and Beatles purchases that I made for August 2025. I think you're going to find one or two things that I got kind of interesting and kind of like one of a kind stuff. So I hope you enjoy today's video. Now, before I get started, of course, I have to thank everybody for their participation in the channel. I still consider it everybody's channel here, not my channel. We're still growing inch by inch, so that's pretty good. I'm almost at 700 viewers, or subscribers, I should say, which is pretty nice. So I thank you for your time and your friendship and your comments and your goodwill. So anyway, Beatles people are always great. Anyway, now before I get started on actually showing you some stuff, I do have one book I'm going to give away this month. It's a softback book, kind of a coffee table size, Rolling Stones, the first 20 years. And this was put out in 1981. And it's really in good shape. I've had it for many, many years, and I'm just parting with it because I don't need it. And it just goes through history, and there's all kinds of photos. Just interesting stuff in here. Maybe that you haven't seen before, I don't know. There's some newspaper articles in here. So all kinds of interesting stuff, I would say. So anyway, if there's a kind of a massive Rolling Stones fan out there who would like this, just let me know in the comments, and you know, whoever lets me know, I will figure out a way to find you and send it out. So, all right. Now, before I'm gonna show you what I actually bought myself, I want to show you a few things that I got from people that I've become friends with on the channel, and a prize that I got from Frank, Mr. Stickermania. So I'll start with Frank. Now he has a live stream sometimes, and he'll have a little quiz where you have to answer 3 questions, and the first one to answer all 3 will get the prize of the day. So this quiz was about the Beatles charity show, which was the last day of their 1964 tour, where they did a charity thing at the Paramount Theater in New York, which I never knew about until Frank started talking about this. So I'm always learning something about the Beatles, you know. So anyway, I got all those 3 questions right. I did study for it, though, because I thought he was either going to ask something about Shay, or, you know, since he had mentioned the Paramount Theater, I thought, well, maybe he's going to ask something about that. So for a change, I studied the right things. So I want to thank Frank for my prizes, and I'll just show you what they are. So this is a 1964, they say from Italy, little package that's sealed, which just has 4 different color Beatle plastic figures in there. Now I actually have one that's got the George header card, so actually now I have 2 of them, which is kind of cool. So that's a pretty nice prize, right? And then this is a sealed yellow submarine model of Paul, and this was put out in 1999, and there's 4 Beatles, obviously, so I got the Paul one, which is good because I'm a Paul girl all the way. So I want to thank Frank for these prizes. They're really, really nice prizes to have. You know, it's always fun to get a Beatle gift, right? All right. So now I've got a couple other things that I got as a gift, and the first one I'm going to show you is this DVD. It's the Complete Beatles, and it was taken off a laser disc. Now, my friend Polly from Florida, she actually came up to the Chicago area, and went to the Fest for Beatles fans, so we got a chance to actually meet each other in person after all the emails and whatnot back and forth, which was really nice. And so she gave me this as a present, so it's just nice to have in this format for sure. The transfer is really nice on this, so I watched it already and it was great. So I do want to thank my friend Polly, and I want to thank her for friendship for this. Now, the next thing I got was something from Kathy in Pennsylvania. And we email every now and then. And we were talking about Beatle Fan and how the Beatle Fan fanzine is really expensive and everything. But she subscribes to it. So she was really nice enough to give me a pretty recent copy. Now, this is from the end of last year, like the December 2024. So it's pretty recent. And it's really got a lot of nice articles in here. It's got something about George Harrison and a Dark Horse, 1974. It's got a chat with the engineer for the United States Capitol mono box set that came out. And then this magazine this time focused on 1964, the documentary. So here's a photo of Olivia, Sean, and whoever else is involved in the making of this documentary film. So there's a lot of good articles in here, so I really appreciate her sending me a copy of this. And then aside from that, she also gave me 3 sealed packs of these Beatles cards. So I'm really happy to have these too. I think these are from the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Looks like maybe 1993. I don't know. Maybe 1983. I can't see without my glasses. Anyway, thank you to Kathy, and I appreciate her too very much. And then last but not least, I got a surprise present from Kevin from California. And he sent me an old card that was Yellow Submarine, which is really nice, with a nice note on the back. And then he gave me a beautiful 8-track of the Beatles' second album. It's really beautiful condition. And you can see the cellophane is on the box, which is unusual. So you can't really ask for much better condition than this. So I really thank Kevin for this. I still blame him for my interest in this, but he understands. So anyway, thank you, Kevin. I really do appreciate this. This is kind of a prized possession right now. And it's got a good home. So, all right. So those are my Beatle prizes and gifts that I got for this last month. All right, so now I'm going to start showing you what I did get. So I'm going to start out with 2 books that I bought. First one is the new Jude Kessler book about John. Now, she's been doing this series for years, and this one goes up to I think the end of 1965 or so, and it has to do with the Shea concert and different other things. So, you know, what she does is she has gone to Liverpool innumerable times in the past, and she met with all the people that were, you know, available and I guess living in some cases because they're not now, and heard their stories, and she got to ask some questions about, you know, different things that went on. And she takes what they have told her and she puts it into more of a story form. So in a way, it's not, you know, it's nonfiction because it's facts from people, but in a way it's kind of fiction because she makes the story around it, but it's all based on facts. So this is pretty interesting series that she's put out, and she's dedicated a lot of her life to that, so I give her a lot of credit, and she's got way more to go. Now, I pre-order mine because I've gotten them all over the years, and so this one is signed by her. Now, she was also at the Fest for Beatles Fans in Chicago selling the book, so she would have signed it there too. So in that sense, it's no big deal to get it signed by her. But anyway. And then the second book I bought, I paid $25 for, from Frank, Mr. Stickermania. It's a copy of the Tony Barrow book, My Life with the Beatles. And I bought it because it's signed inside. It says to Gordon, cheers, and, you know, Tony Bramwell, I should say, not Barrow, Tony Bramwell. And then there's a photo of, I guess, Gordon with Tony Bramwell, so kind of makes a nice little historical thing. Now this book comes in hardback too, which I do have a copy hardback, but I do collect signed books, so for something different, I thought I'd pick this up. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to show you is some music that I bought. So this is a Beatles related one. It's called The Swinging Blue Jeans. And it's a 3-disc set, and it's imported from Great Britain. It's their work from 1963 to 1969. And if you're a Mersey Beat fan like I am, this is a pretty good one to get. I know this they're going to fall out when I try to do this. So it opens up, and then it opens up again on both sides. So I paid about, I think, $30 for this on eBay, you know, because it's imported. They're always more expensive, but anyway, that's that. Now I bought 2 cassettes. This I got at a record show for $5, which is pretty good. Tug of War. I think somebody really needs to do a book about this, because there's no reference that I'm aware of for Beatles cassettes, 8-tracks, laser discs, Betamax, or whatever, all those different formats where either the music or, you know, the films came on. And it would really be nice to know, because they were reissued more than once. And so I don't know which one's older, which one's not older. So anyway, that's a thought for somebody who's interested in trying to write a book. That would be a great book to have. And so now I bought Yellow Submarine. And I bought this off of eBay. I paid like $12 for it. Little more than I want to, but if you want them in a little better condition, then you have to pay a little bit more. And so some of them are a little more scarce to get. So that's that. Now I bought something new that I wasn't aware of at the record show. This is called a 3-inch CD single. This is in a long box, so it contains 2 songs. This one is Help and I'm Down. And obviously there's a whole set of these. So this is a sealed one in the long box. And I want to say this is around 1988 or 9 or so. So it's got some age to it already, maybe 30, 35 years old, 33 or something like that. Kind of crazy how time flies. But so anyway, now I'm interested in these. Doesn't take much for me to get interested in something. These did come out in Great Britain too, but they did not come out in a long box like this. They came out in a little plastic container that was see-through, so you could actually see the CD, you know, that you were buying, whereas here you have to open up the long box in order to see the CD. So that's kind of a new little rabbit hole. I don't think it's going to be too expensive. And then I got 1 8-track at the record show, and it's Wildlife. So I'm thinking now, you know, not only collecting just the Beatles cassettes and 8-tracks, and you start collecting the solo ones, you're going to wind up with a lot of cassettes and 8-tracks. But it has the box. Not nice with the cellophane like Kevin gave me, but you know, I'm happy with it. It says Apple on the back, which is kind of nice. And so that's it. All right, so now the next thing I'm going to show you is a couple of records that I got. The first one, 45s, the first one is no big deal at all. It's just a Purple Capital that I'm working on. This is the non-Starline Purple Capital, but this is a Hello, Goodbye, and I'm the Walrus in mint condition. I swear I'm going to finish these Purple Capitals one way or another. So I paid about 10 bucks for that. And then on eBay, I got this copy of Help. And of course, I have a Help more than once. But I decided to buy it because I really don't have any picture sleeves that are from the West Coast with the notch in them. All mine are East Coast that are straight across. So I thought, well, I'm going to pick up one, at least to have one in my little collection. So this is in pretty good shape. No rips or anything, but I mainly bought it because of that. And then the record is in very good shape too. Pretty minty, I would say. So it's on the swirl. So for that I paid, I think 33 bucks for all this, you know, with the picture sleeve and with the mint record. So whether that's a bargain or not, I don't know, but I liked it, so I got it. Now the last thing I'm going to show you is something else that I bought from Frank, Mr. Sticker Mania, this last month. And I paid $150 for this, and this is a rabbit hole I'm starting to go down, which I'm trying not to go down, because if I do, it's going to be too expensive. But anyway, this one was really interesting to me, so I had to have it. So this is a VJ 45 record, and here's the original outer sleeve, which probably goes for 20, 30 bucks on its own. And that's a pretty nice shape. And then I got a really mint copy of From Me to You and Please Please Me. I think there's like one tiny little mark on it. And this is what they call an error record. So on one side, you've got the rainbow with the oval label. And the other side is the rainbow with the brackets label. So that's the error. Two different labels, brackets and oval. So I thought it was really cool, so I kind of had to have it. And I like the condition of this record because, you know, it's extremely hard to find a VJ record that's not all beat up. Now, I've been on eBay looking at these Error 45s, and some of them are pretty expensive, so it's really not a rabbit hole I want to go down. So I'm going to try to like really be good and not do too much of it. Now, the last thing I got from Frank this past month is a holy grail for me that I've been looking for at least a year and a half. So I got my Beatles box from Liverpool set. This one's a UK copy, which I wanted. There's a lot of Japanese ones for sale on eBay, but I wanted a United Kingdom one. Now, it contains 8 records, as you probably know. And this is nice because the box is not broken at all. And actually, Frank told me that this is one of the nicest ones he's ever had. So it is like in, I want to say, near mint condition. Some of the records have not been played, some were played. And then that's what the inside of the box looks like. So we have the first one, and these are all glossy but very thin outer covers, picture covers. It says printed and made in Great Britain by Garrard and Lofthouse, so you know who they are. So I'll show you one record. So they give you a nice poly sleeve, which is good. And so it's on a silver and black Parlophone. So all the records are the same, like this. Now on the back of each of the outer sleeves, they also give you a little synopsis of some historical stuff surrounding probably the songs that are on here, on this particular record. And they have the same on every one. So here's number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. And finally, number 8. Now I paid $180 for this from Frank, and I think I'm pretty good in the ballpark as far as the price. You know, they're kind of all over the place on eBay, but also on eBay, none of them are near mint either, or mini, you know, per se. So I'm really happy to have this, and I consider it a holy grail for me. So okay, so now I have 2 more things left to show you for the purchases that I made in August, and they're both kind of unique. So I'm going to start with this one. Now I thought I was finished with Pete Best and buying Pete Best autographs, but I came across something on eBay that was just so unusual, and because I collect Cavern Club, I couldn't pass it up, so I'm going to show you it as soon as I get it out of this little thing. Comes with a photo, which I'm not going to do anything with, but anyway, this is a copy of a membership application form that Pete Best actually filled out and signed, you know, applying for membership, which I thought was really interesting. Whoever got him to do this was pretty on the ball, I would say, about something unusual. Now, this is an original form, and so these already probably go for about $50 or maybe more. Now, I pulled out what I have in my Cavern Club collection, and I've got a pink one that's the same. So at the time, they had pink and blue. Now I'm realizing that there were 2 different colors, and they probably go with the pink and blue junior Cavern Club cards that were specifically done for like the younger teenage kids, or, you know, preteens or whatever. So I think that's what these colors correspond to, with, you know, the actual pink and blue Cavern Club cards that they produce for a younger set. So now the back of this one is blank, which it should be. The back of this one is not blank. There's a whole typewritten list that says jazz venues on Merseyside in the 50s, and so it gives a rundown of all these clubs that were there at the time. Now this should not be here, of course, and so I'm thinking that this came from Bob Wooler at some point, because Bob Wooler was known for having all kinds of notebooks. He would write all kinds of lists and facts and whatever about different Mersey things and about Beatles and different groups and things that went on. He documented a lot of stuff, and he not only hand wrote in notebooks, he also typed out stuff. So I'm thinking he's probably the only one that would have done something like this. Now I did compare, to make, it came from an auction house originally, so, and I recognize Pete Best's autograph without a problem, but I did pull out, some of my other Pete Best stuff. And, for instance, the drum head, I brought this back out. He signs the Beatles on this, and it's all in capital letters. And he's got a swirly thing that he puts under his name all the time. And so, as far as what I bought, he's got the swirly thing under his name, and he writes Pete Best, he writes the Beatles all in capital letters. So this whole thing was written by him. So I think it's pretty cool, one-of-a-kind item. So that's my Pete Best new autograph. So I guess I'm never going to say never anymore. All right, so now I have one more thing to show you, which I think is interesting also, and it's one of a kind, basically. Now, I bought this off of eBay. Well, I paid $130 for the Pete Best Cavern membership thing that I just showed you, and to bring it home, it was $154 with tax and shipping and all that. So, it's a little bit more pricey than Pete Best autographs usually go for, but since it was on that, I had to have it. Now, I also bought this, and I'm not entirely sure what this is. Now, I was told I got this on eBay, and it was $40, and then I paid $57.16 to bring it home. Now, I was told that this was a slick that went on top of the cardboard, for the Hard Day's Night album. Now, I don't know whether that's true or not, or whether this is kind of like artwork for the album cover, because it's got that band up there that's not on the album at all. And then on the bottom, there's some little tiny markings also. It might be hard to see. Maybe where things should line up or whatever. So I don't know if anybody knows anything about something like this, whether you think it's just an album slick, which in a way I don't think it is, or whether you think it's like a prototype or something for the cover. I would appreciate you letting me know that. All right, so that's all of the stuff that I got for August 2025 as far as Beatles stuff goes. I hope you enjoyed the video. I do hope you come back again, and feel free to comment if you think I paid too much money, or you liked it or didn't like what I bought, or think I'm crazy, or whatever you want to say. So anyway, hope you're healthy and happy, and of course, Beatles forever.